you're able to automate it more. And from an automation perspective, is just having someone answer the phone and having two drivers is the most important thing for this business. If you can have three people to do that for you that are solid and valuable, like you have a kick ass cash flowing business.
So at that point, yeah, cash flow, right? So you're going to have some manpower, some systems.
Yep.
Say year 2, 3. What's realistic in terms of possible income?
Possible income. So if you're starting with, let's say by year three, if you're starting with year one truck, five dumpsters, by year three, I would expect you to have 15 dump. If you're still in business, I would expect you to have 15 dumpsters in one truck. At that point, you can probably make it a full-time gig, and you're looking at probably making $5,000 to $6,000 in net profit a month, like to take home to yourself.
Okay, so if you're in this as a side piece and you've got the driver and the piece of the puzzle answering the phones, is
Yep.
that the example of making say 5K a month?
No.
Okay, okay,
You need at least like 30 to 40 dumpsters to get it automated like that. The
okay.
first thing we did was we had a driver go into the truck and we were answering the phone. Eventually, we grew it up enough where we got our second driver. We were still answering the phone. But this following year, about a month ago, I have 60 dumpsters now. Once we got to about 60 dumpsters a month and a half ago, I hired my first assistant to pick up the phone and to bill people. And it's just been amazing.
From a standpoint of time, right? Because you got this other business that you're also working on. So you mentioned answering the phone.
Yep.
Am I on an accurate plan of assuming that you're doing this other job, working this, and then phone calls come in, you take care of that, and then get back to the other piece of the
Yeah.
puzzle?
And I did that for a year. And I got to the point where my other job or business got so big that I couldn't do both anymore. I'd be in a sales call or I'd be in a Zoom meeting like this with someone and my phone would be ringing. I'd be like, who am I going to answer right now? Like that would happen to me way too much. And that's when I was like, I just have to hire an assistant. It's going to take a little, like a bit away from my take home, but I had to do it. I had no choice.
You mentioned earlier on the service piece was one of the major things that helped the business continue to grow and separate yourselves from the better operators versus the ones that aren't.
Yeah.
How would you explain kind of the expectations or what separates somebody to say that they are a good service company versus not?
Being on time. If you're going to be somewhere, so for me, it's like if I'm going to drop you a dumpster, I'll tell you I'll be there between 8 to 10 a.m. That is key and most important. So communication is key, billing people on time and just being honest. Like if I'm not going to get there between 8 and 10, I'm calling you right away and I'm saying, hey, Mr. Contractor, I'm sorry. We are running late today. We got pulled over by DOT or we got a flat tire. We are not going to be there till 11 a.m. Is that okay with you? If that's not okay with you, I can set you up with another company.
Awesome. Okay, so just to kind of recap, first thing, analyze the markets, right?
Yep.
Is there an opportunity? Um, what would be an example of, hey, this probably isn't a good market to start
The
this with?
bad markets are like metropolitan areas. Somewhere like within New York City, there's no money to be made really anymore. There's a lot of regulations. Markets like Miami, Tampa, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas. A lot of those markets are pretty saturated at this point where it's a race to the bottom. I hate to say it, but in some markets like that, it's a race to the bottom. There's just too much regulation there. And in a lot of those markets, the big guys own the dump, so they dictate their own prices and can undercut all of your stuff because they control the supply chain. The biggest opportunity I see in this business is people who own the supply chain, they own the dump, and they rent out the dumpsters at the same time. So they're controlling all the waste flow and whatnot. And if you're in a market where people that's pretty dominant, it's really tough to make money and make this into $1 million business because that's the goal.
Okay. Okay. Is there
For
not?
me, in
Yeah.
my market, it's all fixed pricing on the dump fees. We can only dump at three of our local town dumps. There's no private dumps in my market, so it's fair game, and pretty much whoever gets used has to give the best service. Like it's on the service. It's not about the price here.
Okay. Is there? I mean, would you consider opening up in a different city outside state lines?
I would. I've had people talk to me about even franchising my business. I've thought about it, but I have so much going on. It needs to be the right opportunity and the right partner. I would definitely love to do that, but I would probably partner with someone and it would have to be the right opportunity.
So you mentioned $1 million business, right? I mean, obviously, anytime you run a business with top of line revenue versus bottom line net income, what's the end game? Is it $1 million net income, $1 million business? What's the type of
My end game is 100 dumpsters and 3 trucks. Not my end game, but I'd like to get to
That's a
100
goal.
dumpsters and 3 trucks. I'm a little bit more than halfway there. I'm like 60% there. Um, that is not like that's just like my end game isn't even to sell this thing. It's just trash is never going away. We're never gonna be able to
Right.
get rid of trash. Like everything is trash. When I got into the business and people are like, oh, you're getting in the trash business, like I'm like, look around your room right now. Like this is all gonna be in the garbage one day. Like it's sad to say, but like it is. Like
Yeah. 100%. Like I just sold the commercial building and had to move into a new place and pitched a
yeah,
ton of stuff, and that's just
that's just part of
part
life.
of it. Yeah.
So for me, it's like I'm not building this to sell to waste management or any of those crazy companies. It's more about just having a cash flowing business that's always going to be needed and make money no matter what's happening in the world. Like roofs are still going to need to get done, garbage is still going to be produced. As long as those two things keep happening, my business will keep cash flowing.
In from a just macro standpoint, we're in this weird position right now where the rates are high, prices are high, and
Yep.
something's got to give. Home building from the residential side has slowed down. On
Yep.
the multifamily side, it still seems pretty high. But if rates go down and markets pick up, I think you're going to see more activity going on in the markets, which I would assume more people investing in real estate, flipping, acquiring. Um, what are your thoughts on the markets overall?
My thoughts on the markets are if rates go down, I think we're going to see a buying frenzy. I think there's a lot of people on the sidelines all thinking the same thing right now. And if rates do go down, I think prices are just going to skyrocket even higher because a lot of people have the same mindset. Everyone I talk to is like, once the rates go down, I'll start buying. But like, I think you should it's just, I have a million thoughts on that. But with the dumpster business, my thought process is right now, a lot of the residential work I'm getting is insurance work. A lot of roofers are knocking on doors and hitting people for insurance work. So every time someone complains about insurance being high, like that is probably the case. My homeowners insurance are high. Because there's a lot of roofing companies right now knocking on doors and saying you need
Processing
a new
claims.
roof for a claim for $1,000, you get a free roof. I'm seeing that all over my town, and that is really just what's been keeping me super busy. We're like, we did 7 roofs today, not us, but like we rented out 7 dumpsters to 7 roofers today,
Mm-hmm.
and half of those guys are insurance claims, and the other half had an insurance claim guy knock on their door, and then it went to like they called another roofing company, and that's how it got done. So I'm seeing a lot of that in where I'm at. And another thing is it's spring cleaning this time of year. A lot of people just rent out a dumpster after the winter time because I'm in New York. They rent like a 10 or 15-yard dumpster, just clean out their house on the weekend.
Stock trading. Are you still spending time on that?
So me and my SEO partner met in a stock trading group chat like 6 years ago. And he was actually one of the owners of the Discord chat. And it was just like a value investing chat. Um, finding stocks, flipping rocks in markets that like nobody else was looking, small cap stocks. And I've made a lot of money from that in the past 2 years. Like my portfolio is up like 200 something percent, something ridiculous. And taxes are coming.
Right.
Taxes are coming, but yeah, stock trading. I had a finance blog in college called Financial Freedom 101. That's actually how I discovered not local SEO, but SEO itself. I wrote a blog post on best credit cards for young college adults, made about $3,000 to $5,000 in affiliate links from that post. Discovered like how am I making this money? Figured out I wrote a nice SEO blog post. That summer, I got a job at a company called Active International in New York. Worked on accounts like Kroger and Firehouse Subs. When I worked on those accounts, that's where I really learned all about media buying, local marketing, Google Ads, SEO. And I was only like 19 at the time. The next summer, I worked at Benjamin Moore and Co., the paint company. When I worked with them, I was in their corporate office, helped build their e-commerce platform. Funny enough, it's a Warren Buffett owned company. I love Warren Buffett, so it was great working there. They had little Buffett dolls there. But it's funny they're a Warren Buffett company. They had no e-commerce website until COVID. Zero
Really?
e-commerce website. As a paint company that's that big, $1 billion business, no e-commerce website. And I actually was on the team to help build that website, which was an amazing experience that is just still sticks with me till today.
Damn. Okay. So, listeners there have gotten this far. We're going to be digging into another story of the SEO business that he built as well. And where can people find you again?
You can find me on Twitter at iRentDumpsters.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for making time, and
Thank
we'll
you for
catch up
having me.
soon.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir.